Welcome to Eloise behind the scenes. If you haven't seen my short yet, who hasn't let things get a little out of hand? You really should. Spoilers for Eloise. Okay, so first step of this creation process was drawing a design for the house. I looked at a bunch of references online. I remember looking at older houses and farmhouses and ending up with this drawing. You'll notice that not everything is exactly the same in the end, but it was a good baseline. Then I moved on to making the templates. Which I used to cut out the cardboard walls. Then I scored the walls to create a little bend in the cardboard. The plan was to use the glue gun to combine that, but unfortunately, due to an unpreventable tragedy, the glue gun was left plugged in for what seems to be multiple days. It is very lucky that this tragedy did not cause a terrible and horrific fire to break out, but unfortunately, it did take out a valued member of the team, glue gun. They served me well throughout this project and previous artistic journeys, but unfortunately, as I attempt to dig the glue out of its mangled body, it becomes obvious that they're gone. Rip glue gun. So I got a new one, and just like Glue Gun 1 would want, I dove directly into the project, determined to make a terrifying farmhouse for my horror short. After putting together the floor and walls, I made the roof space. Tried is something I saw on Squidmar's miniature channel. It involved gluing fine sand to the walls of the house and painting over them to add texture, but the sand I got was way too coarse, and I got super glue in my hands and I kind of hated the way it felt when it dried. Probably should have worn gloves, so I scrapped that. I'll also admit part of me didn't want to make shingles, but I had to relent. Next, I worked on making window frames that I would soon lose and have to remake, this time using wood, as well as shingles that I wouldn't lose but regardless would have to make a lot more of. After that, I glued together foam off camera to become the deck in front of my house. Don't worry about the texture under it. It was a failed attempt that we'll all collectively pretend never happened. Next, I take another piece of foam and draw a tiny door on it with a mechanical pencil with the lead down, so it just makes impressions of the door. I'll take the same pencil and make a brick texture. I'll bring in some popsicle sticks to make the floorboards. Before I unplug the glue gun, because I have definitely learned from my past mistakes, I'll use it one more time to add plastic window to the window frame. Next, I'll struggle to cut out the floorboards with pliers and scissors, sanding them in between. First, I'll cover the deck with gray paint, but after remembering how all the other artsy YouTubers will use a black base coat whenever they're painting gray bricks, I'll follow suit. It'll help with adding shading, getting black until the crevices my gray paint won't reach. Then I did what I thought was dry brushing, only to learn later it was not. Dry brushing is with a lot less paint. Usually you'll rub the brush on a paper towel or something beforehand to make sure you only have a little paint on it when you go. Anyway, after that I splotch on various coats of gray paint using a paper towel. Then I paint the deck boards and attach them to the deck with some tacky clear glue. I sand them to add some age, and I add some greenery I got from Joann's. I was kind of nervous about this, but I'm really liking this. After I admire my handiwork, it's time to start working on the roof. First I cut out pieces of foam, then I hot glue them to the roof base. I gotta be careful with that because the hot glue can easily melt the foam. To avoid this, I apply the hot glue to the cardboard base and pray. Next, I add clear plastic sheets onto the windows. I also got this from Joann's if you happen to be in the market. I made all these indents on the roof off camera. After indenting the roof, I shove a piece that fell out back in place and finish my indentations. Next step is time to finish the tedious process of making more shingles. Yay! I'm going to paint the whole thing like a base gray, except for where the door is going. I'm gonna glue the door down and then I'm gonna paint the whole thing a base gray and attach the siding. I was gonna add siding, and then I remembered I need to make a chimney. I make the chimney out of foam, that way it's easy to add brick texture with the ruler and a mechanical pencil. Get a nice black base coat and let it dry. Hopefully balance it right there. Let's paint the roof. After doing the obligatory black base coat and being annoyed at how long it takes for paint to dry, I add lighter shades of red and brown to the chimney. I also try to get crushed watercolor to stick to it, but I fail. I should have got chalk pastels, but I tried to improvise since I was too impatient to wait. Then I both dry brush and paint the roof. Time for more foliage. Then I attach the chimney to the house, cut a hole in the bottom for a secret surprise. Decide the roof's a bit too bright and I dry brush some blacks and greens. Now for the time-consuming process of adding each individual shingle to my house. While I'm adding the shingles, I remember to add the window frames before it's too late. I think I made them out of popsicle sticks I had left over from the floorboards off camera. Got a nice base coat, but of course I got the roof a little bit white and the chimney, so I will fix that after this fully dries. So I dry brushed the roof and the chimney wherever it had like little white spots. I also gave all the shingles a nice white paint coat, so hopefully that'll cover any parts that were being seen. I also gave, which I won't touch this, a little deck. I gave it some a nice dry brush with a lighter color. Now I know how to properly dry brush, so that's good. Then it's time to add the deck and make a welcome mat of felt. After that, I dry brushed the shingles to add some age. This step was really fun. After that, I need to make some stairs, which I create out of foam. Really glad I kept it simple and didn't go for wood on this one. Future ghost trip, really didn't enjoy making a giant wooden staircase. Anyway, after that I add texture to it with an X-Acto knife. I think the mechanical pencil is better. The knife pushed in too deep, and you have to put in more effort to just get indentations, but it was good enough. Then I cover it with a black base coat, and while it dries, I work on the deck railings, which I paint off camera. I'm working on some tiny things now. I already accidentally broke something, but you will fix it with hot glue. This is a tiny lock and tiny doorknob that got broken. So let's fix this. Okay. It's pretty shiny. I'm gonna put it right here. Oh shit. Oh my god. After reeling from one of many glue gun burns, I now have a permanent scar on my leg because of our new fiery friend. I paint the glitter onto the doorknob and the lock. I think I covered it with glue, but to be honest, I don't remember. Next, I add some acrylic wash to the house to age things more. Acrylic wash is basically a lot of water and acrylic paint. Generally, I use the cup that I put all my used paintbrushes in throughout the crafting process. I'm gonna have to add these off camera just because they're so tiny. But here's the doorknob and the little lock there. I glued the posts on now. It's a little off. There we go. Fix that. Oops, no. No. After I fix the house's structural damage, I move on to painting the stairs. I try to paint it lighter grays, but I decide to splotch on various coats of gray paint with a craft sponge. Then it's dry brushing time. Finally, I add some more foliage and attach the stairs. Now it's time for the final review. I'm incredibly happy how this terrifying farmhouse turned out. The fact that this project uses light in a fun and surprising way takes it to a whole new level. If you like this video, you'll love my new horror shorts, Eloise and Trick or Treat. I'll be posting more behind the scenes for both shorts, and if you want to support me in the creation of shorts like this, subscribe, hit the bell, and consider joining my Patreon. Thanks. I'll see you guys next time.